There is power in one word, two letters, one sound, one decision that can change your entire life. That word is no. Not every opportunity deserves a yes. Not every relationship deserves access. Not every voice deserves influence. Not every temptation deserves your attention. Some people are exhausted today because they kept saying yes to the things God never assigned to them. And today we're going to talk about the power of boundaries, the power of conviction, the power of discipline, the power of standing firm when pressure says compromise. Because every destiny is protected by a no. The truth is, you cannot say yes to purpose while saying yes to everything else. The people who change the world are not just the people who know how to say yes. They are the people who know how to say no. Today, we'll be diving into the power of the no. A lion doesn't chase every animal in the jungle. It only focuses on one target. Focus is powerful. A lion may see a zebra going by, may see a buffalo going by, may see a wolf going by, but it has already set its eyes on the sheep. And because it has already set its eyes on the sheep, it will say no to everything else that looks like prey, everything else that feels like prey, everything else that may taste good. You know, a good steak may be good for the lion too, but it already set its eyes on the prize. The reason many people are stuck is because they say yes to too many things. Joel Osteen said, "You can't live negative and expect positive results." Sometimes saying no is protecting your peace. Sometimes say no is protecting you from the negative environment around you. Daniel said no to compromise. Daniel lived in Babylon, a culture filled with compromise, yet he remained faithful. Daniel 1:8, the Bible says, "For Daniel purposed in his heart that he will not defile himself with the portions of the king delicacies, nor with the wine which he drank." Guess what? I'm here to tell you today that it's important to say no. He purposed in your heart. You got to purpose in your heart to say no. You got to purpose in your heart to say, "I will not defile myself with a portion of the world's delicacies." It may look like wine, it may look good, it may look well, but it's not for me. I will say no. That's important. If you wait until temptation comes to decide your value, you're already weak. You need to decide already in your heart that I will say no, so that when it comes, no is already purpose. It's already stationed. The wall is already built. The stronghold is there. The stronghold of righteousness. The stronghold of no to what's not for me. No to my things that will take away my peace. Things that will take away my joy. Things that will not show love. Things that will not give a good report. I will say no. Purpose in your heart today to say no. Strong people make decisions in advance. You need to pre-decide your boundaries. I will not cheat. I will not lie. I will not entertain certain energies. I will not destroy my purpose for temporary pleasure. I will not do these things. Martin Luther King Jr. said this, "The time is always right to do what is right." Philippians says there's a time and place for everything under the sun. Say no to this one thing, fear. Some people need to say no to fear. Fear has delayed their dreams. Fear has destroyed their potential. Fear has silenced your voices. But God did not create you to live in intimidation. For God has not given you the spirit of fear, but of love, power, and of a sound mind. 2 Timothy 1:7. You need to say no to the fear that controls you. Say no to the anxiety that dominates you. No to the insecurity that will stop my purpose. Rosa Parks changed history with one refusal. One no. She refused to surrender her seat, and one act of courage sparked a movement. Never underestimate the power of one refusal. one refusal. Decide in advance that I will say no when the opportunity that looks good, but it does not line up with the will of God. Because when it lines up with the will of God, you won't even have to say no. It will just come into your life, sweet aroma of God, and it shall be like praise and worship unto his name. And your yes will already be set in advance, while your no will already be set in advance. Jesus said no. Jesus often walked away from crowds. Why? Because purpose requires solitude sometimes. Everyone wants access to you, but it's not always healthy. Sometimes you gotta separate yourself. That's why the Bible said Jesus went upon the mountain to pray. He said no to ministering. He said no to healing the sick. He said no to raising the dead. He said no to doing all these wonderful miracles that could have happened if he met with the crowd. But he decided that he needed to spend time to one who gave him life, to the one that is most important. The one who gave you life is the one we know as Jesus Christ. Say no to the things that try to take away your personal time with God. Say no to the things that try to interrupt your prayer. When that call comes in, there's a red button on the screens. Click it. That's saying no. When the text come in, you can swipe up or you can turn the phone off. That is say no. When there's a distraction that comes against your time with the Lord, guess what? Say no, because this is what Jesus did. He set aside time. He went upon the mountain. You need to go up into that closet. You need to set aside time for the Lord. And that comes at saying no to everything else and saying yes to the Lord. Luke 5 verse 16 says, and he withdrew himself into the wilderness and prayed. Some of you need to say no to the noise. No to the constant distraction. No to the constant of draining people. Say no to the environments that's killing your spirit. Protect your peace. Protect your mind. Protect your calling by saying no. The message is a blessing in when you surround yourself with boundaries. Boundaries are biblical. Noah built his boundaries by building an ark. Nehemiah built walls. Jesus separated himself. Daniel protected his convictions. Boundaries are not hated. Boundaries are wisdom. Boundaries are you saying no to the things of the world and saying yes to the calling of God upon your life. Brown said this, daring to set boundaries is about having the courage to love yourself. Sometimes the most spiritual word you can say is no. No to chaos, no to compromise, no to addiction, no to manipulation, no to destruction. Listen carefully. Every great destiny requires separation. You cannot fly with the eagles while thinking like chickens. There are doors with your yes on it that will open to you, but there are demons that your nose will shut down. Romans 12 verse 2 says, do not be conformed to this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. You were created not to blend in, but you were created to stand out. Say no to fear. Say no to temptation. Say no to negativity. Say no to be mediocre. Say no to anything that fights against your God-given purpose. Because every powerful yes begins with a courageous no. I'm here to tell you, Les Brown said this, too many of us are living our dreams because we are living our fears. Today, let your fear hear no. Let temptation hear no. Let distraction hear no. Let the enemy hear no. And let heaven hear your yes. If this message has blessed you, say no to every distraction that comes your way. If this message can change your life, renew your mind, stop saying yes. Stop people pleasing. Stop being peer pressured into the things that do not line up with your calling. I am saying there is a power in your no. There's a courage in your no. There's a destiny that's waiting when you say no. Set it right now. Determine in your heart that I will not defile myself with the things of the world, but I will stand strong and stay true to the things of God. And when Jesus says yes, I will say yes to it. And when Jesus says no, my no has already been set in place. I will stand firm. And remember, because the most powerful thing you can say is no. It's easier to change a no into a yes than a yes into a no. When you give people the power over your life, that's when you say yes to them. That's when you give people access. That's when you give people the will and the way to say you said yes. But guess what? When you say no, they can always went and say you said no. You said no to $1 million deal, but yet still the Lord actually had $1 billion store. Yet still the Lord had $1 billion in store for you. That's what happens when you say no. When you say no to that opportunity, it will lead you to prison. When you say no to that opportunity, it will lead you into a storm. When you say no to what looks good, it will lead you to destruction. But can I tell you, at destruction, there's restructuring of the calling of God at your life. That's why the prison will lead you to the palace. That's why the storm will lead you to the mountaintop. That's why destruction will lead you to the gates of hell that will not prevail in your life. Because you said no, destruction fails and God prevails. I'm here to say there's a power in one word, one sound, 2 letters. It's simple. The power of no. Be blessed.